business owner? Entrepreneur? Want to learn how online marketing can improve your business?
Your questions.
Our advice.
This is Not a Real Job.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 52 of Not a Real Job, a comedy-ish podcast about marketing, social media, digital marketing, websites, and related creative pursuits. I am Chris Van Patten, and I make websites and web applications in New York City.
And I'm Joel Kelly, and I do social media stuff for travel and tourism brands, and I do that work from Nova Scotia, Canada.
So we are once again recording on a Monday, which turns out it's becoming a bit of a thing for us.
Yeah, it's all my fault. I think it's been my fault every time, but I've just been away. I've been camping for the last 6 out of 10 days or something.
You must be a glutton for punishment.
I actually quite enjoy it. No part of me wanted to come home.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised. You do convey a woodsman-y sort of feel.
Well, it's obviously the look I'm going for in my personal grooming.
Sure. Mountain man, Joel Kelly.
Yeah. Just someone who belongs not in an office, but more outside. Of course, I am allergic to all of the outdoors. I had an allergy test last year. We may have talked about this on the podcast where I found out that I am, in fact, allergic to trees, grass, dust, every type of pollen. So camping for me is a little bit masochistic, but, you know.
Sure.
Pain and pleasure are connected like sex and death.
Sure. I'll take your word for that.
What have you been up to? What are you drinking?
I am drinking sherry once again.
Nice. Is this the same sherry from last time?
This is the same sherry. Sherry is nice because it is basically half liquor, so it doesn't go bad at the same rate that wine does.
That is nice.
It definitely does go bad, but not nearly as quickly, which is good because I'm a slow drinker.
Well, sometimes you're not, and then things go bad.
Yeah. It's a good thing we didn't record yesterday because, oh boy, bottomless brunch got the best of me in a big way.
Oh man, I'm really excited for my next time in New York. I want to go to one of these places with bottomless drinks. Man, I had a question for you now. Oh yeah, have you experienced any spectral phenomena from your haunted glasses?
No, it's actually been very good. No complaints so far.
So only the normal type of ghostly encounters that you have.
Yeah.
No new ones.
No, nothing out of the ordinary. Put it that way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I myself am drinking a martini, trying to get back into civilized society after drinking cheap domestic beer in the woods for the last few days. So trying to.
Can you clarify domestic beer?
Well, I had some Molson Canadian. And I also had some Budweiser.
So, well, Budweiser's not domestic.
It's all the same Belgian companies.
It's all InBev at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's Molson and Coors are the same company. So Budweiser is, it's all the same. So it all comes out of the same pipe and just goes into a different bottle.
Sure. Well, that is... I'm glad that you're back on the classy side of things.
Yeah. I mean, one does what one can, especially when I'm, trying to re-enter the working world.
Sure. Makes
sense.
I'm
not really looking forward to, I'll admit. I really liked being in the woods. It was nice. So, big news for me. My Pictures for Sad Children book finally arrived.
Which is something that we have talked about, right?
Yeah. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Pictures for Sad Children was basically the greatest webcomic ever.
Yes.
Written by a man named John Campbell, who, was obviously always struggling with some issues.
Which, at the risk of sounding gauche, I guess, is that was maybe part of the appeal of the comic. Part of maybe what made it... relatable, exactly.
Yeah. It certainly came from a place of at least some level despair.
One of my absolute favorites that I actually have pinned up over my desk is the motivation comic, which we will link to in the show notes. It really speaks to my entire existence.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I've got both of his books now. I've got two of his original pieces that he sold for, I think, $100 a piece. But he, instead of sending out his last book to everyone, what he started doing was burning them. And he had written some posts about how he had gone off his antidepressants, which, as a person who takes antidepressants, that was kind of a red flag for me that things were not going to go well for him. So luckily for, I think, him and for his fans, of course, not to be too selfish about it all, Max Temkin, the creator of Cards Against Humanity, got in touch with him, seemed to have helped him out, and helped him get the rest of the books shipped out to everyone who had paid for them. So mine arrived today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Basically, this is a huge personal victory for me. If I can just quickly turn John Campbell's whole situation into a story about me.
You're very good at that.
Yeah, well, I do have that T-shirt somewhere. Some e-cards, they used to make shirts. They may still, but I've got one. It was actually a gift from from someone that just said, "Let's constantly turn the conversation back towards me." So
it's a good shirt. Which, and this also reminds me that you have some other big news.
Oh yeah, my book's fully funded.
Congratulations!
Yay. Thank you. I haven't checked the latest. I think I'm like at 101%. Like, obviously, donations slowed after it was funded, which is, understandable. But what that means now is you're not pre-ordering or backing a book. You are, in fact, if you contribute money right now, you are full on ordering it.
Well, I mean, of course, it's pre-ordering still.
Yeah, but the words changed.
Okay.
On the website.
Got it.
It now says order.
Got it.
Yeah. But you're not going to get it.
It's a pre-order with a guarantee.
I suppose so. You're not going to get it any faster than anyone else, and it's not done yet. So, I mean,
sure.
Man,
get your shit together, man. Come on.
Loud window today, eh?
Oh god. So the funny thing is that every time we mention my loud window or things passing, I get an email the next day from Steve saying, "Just so you know, I could have taken that out and no one would have known the difference. But then you mentioned it, so I had to leave it in." Every time.
All right, Steve. That's the last one I'll mention.
Yeah, I blame this entirely on you, Joel.
Well, I didn't know that. Why? Steve didn't email me.
Sorry, we have a special bond.
That's fine. I'm just saying this is information that could have been communicated.
Well, what am I doing right now?
For instance, I won't mention the one that just went by so that it can be removed.
I don't think one just went by. I would have heard it. Maybe
am I
it's just
hallucinating?
a wind. Well, it's safe to assume. You've been drunk in the woods all week, so.
Are there spectral phenomena haunting me?
I would say that's a very high probability of that occurring.
Anyway, in larger news, outside of my successful crowdfunding, the world of the paranormal, and whatever else you've got going on, we've got questions.
Well, question.
Well, the other one's pretty sweet too.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely read that.
We have messages.
Yes.
We have communique.
That's a good way to put it.
All right, which one are we doing first? The question or the communique?
Let's do the question first, and then we'll do the communique later.
All right, this one actually.
And do you want to read this one?
Yeah, because I'll do an impression. So this one comes from Leah, my fiance. So I'm gonna do a voice, like I'll make it sound like how she sounds. Or should I just get her to read her own question?
You could do that.
I'm just gonna yell at her and see if she comes. Hold on, Leah, come here, please.
I remember this happening on an episode of Mabim Bam once.
Oh my god, it did. Oh well, fuck it. We're the Mabim Bam Fancast.
That was answering a question. This one is asking the question, so it's different.
Right. We're gonna get you to read your own question. Okay. Hold on. You'll soon be on the line with Leah.
Hello?
Welcome to the show.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Are you drinking? Because we have a rule on the show. I don't know if you know.
I've overheard, and as an avid listener, can appreciate, but no, right now I'm just on water after a bit of a binge this weekend.
That's totally fair. We've heard all about the woody hijinks, so
yeah, so it's good.
Excellent.
So just water for me.
Cool. Anyway, we understand that you have a question.
Yeah. Yeah. So the background to my question for you both is that I work in public relations, communications, marketing kind of field. And I've been a freelancer for a number of years, but for the past year, I've been with one company and the contract is kind of coming to an end. And so going back most likely to freelancing. And my question is, now that I've been out of the kind of freelancing agency side of things for a while, I'm not really sure what the market rates are, what kind of where in the ladder of skill and expertise I kind of fall these days. Relative to the rest of kind of the neighborhood. And so it was suggested to me that I reach out to some friends who run their own agencies or who are kind of more senior in those ones to get a sense of what's going on out there. So my question to the wonderful folks at Not a Real Job is, if someone were to approach you asking for your insights on your respective fields and where you think the trends are heading and how you think that's all kind of shaking out, how would you like to be approached? And what kind of questions would put you in the best frame of mind to start percolating on that stuff?
Wow, that is a great question. And thank you for calling us wonderful. It's very nice of you to lie like that.
You're absolutely the best.
Thank you. But I'm going to have to ask you to leave now, and you're going to have to wait until Wednesday to hear, just like the rest of the fans. Sorry, no preferential treatment here.
I fully accept that. Those are fair terms.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited to hear your answers.
I am as well.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm
back.
You're back.
She's insufferable, isn't she?
Oh, the worst. The worst.
Oh, she just said I can hear you. It's awkward.
So this is a really great question, actually. I say actually as if I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. It is genuinely a good question that I have lots of opinions about, but I want to let you run with this one first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I get approached pretty often for this sort of thing. I mean, the town that I'm in is pretty small, but we have a lot of agencies. We have a lot of PR communications people vying for a fairly limited set of positions. So everyone's trying to get a leg up by meeting for coffee, meeting for beer, chatting. And honestly, I rarely say no to people. And if I do, I certainly give an excuse that sounds plausible. But for me, I really appreciate the email first, and an email that doesn't say, hey, can we meet up for a chat? But an email with context, an email with here's who I am, what I've been up to, and what I'm looking to achieve by having this conversation. What I find really frustrating is you get basically the cold call, the email saying, hey, can we meet? I want to pick your brain for a bit. And you show up without knowing what this person wants to leave with. So it can end up turning into a bit of a waste of time for everybody, because that person might not leave with information that they could have found useful because they didn't do the prep work. And you didn't accomplish anything. You didn't help anyone. So I would say make sure you know what, and that's what Leah's got here. At least she has, what she's trying to achieve. What's the pay scale these days? What are people looking for? That's the kind of thing that can be useful. And of course, make sure that you're talking to someone who's likely to have that sort of information. And again, don't just go into these things cold, hoping that someone's going to solve all your problems for you.
Yeah, I think, I don't know why I was expecting you to maybe have a different take, but I have basically exactly the same
What did you expect? Now tell me what you thought I would say.
I don't know. I sort of thought Joel Kelly, raging Canadian alcoholic, might, want to...
First of all, I take exception at the term raging. I am an incredibly mellow drinker. Alcoholic, sure. That's public record. But I have very few rages, and almost none of them alcohol-induced.
Fair.
You can ask anyone. I'll get Leah back. She can tell you.
I was kidding.
Now I'm super...
Now he's getting into a rage.
Now I'm going to throw my glass of vodka at the computer. Anyway.
That'll solve your problems. No.
Yeah.
I basically agree. Honestly, I am perfectly happy to get a coffee or a beer or whatever with somebody. But 9 times out of 10, I would just, if it's a question that can be easily posed over email, it can probably be easily answered over email, or even can I get you for 5 minutes on Skype? Even that, the problem with the coffee or the beer thing is that, one, all of a sudden there's money involved. And it's like, if I'm giving advice, are they going to offer to buy me a drink? And it sounds like a silly thing to be thinking about, but it's definitely, when you're doing something over email or Skype, it takes a lot of bullshit out of the equation.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about what the social norms are around, like, should I buy their drink or whatever? And it also, a question that could be answered in 5 or 10 minutes on Skype, if you do a coffee or a beer or whatever, that's going to be like 45 minutes minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minimum. And don't get me wrong, like, there are definitely situations where I'm more than happy. I'm always more than happy. I don't really like telling people no when it comes to this kind of thing, but I would much prefer to do it over email if I can.
Yeah.
Every time.
No, but I mean, and I think we have very similar opinions on having meetings in general. If a meeting can be avoided, it should be.
Yeah.
You know, there's no better thing that happens throughout my day than finding out a meeting has been canceled. So I think in this case as well, like, if you can do it over email, great. Now, here's the important thing. Suggest in your email, here are my questions. If you'd like, we can meet up, or if you just want to shoot me an email back. You might run into people who love to chat face to face. I've heard of them. There are people out there who prefer the chat to going back and forth over email. So open that window so the person doesn't feel like they're entering into, a transaction.
But let them decide how they want to communicate.
100%. Because for me, I think what happens, most of the people who I go for lunch meetings with, or even, grab a beer or something, they know. Everyone knows where my bar is. They know where I go for lunch every day. They know, like, if you suggest, hey, Joel, can we meet up for half an hour after work one day at the Goggle, the bar that's literally downstairs in the building where I work, I'm probably going to say yes. If it's, I work in, the town over the bridge, and, I don't have a car, so would you be able to meet me somewhere? The answer is going to be one of my made up excuses.
Yeah.
Like, make it on the other person's terms. Absolutely. Like, you should be the one using up your lunch break. They shouldn't have to use up theirs. That sort of thing.
Yeah. And I'm definitely, I think if you leave the option open, I don't know. I would be, if I got this request personally, and if it were something where I started to type an email and realized, you know what?
Yeah.
A lot of the time I get into this situation where I'm asked advice, and you know what? It's just easier to hop on the phone for a couple minutes or Skype or something. And that's like basically as good as the in-person thing. So just let them kind of, give them the option to decide how they want to respond, how they want to help, if they want to help at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And definitely make sure you offer, again, this is just people like me, but offer the lunch, not just the coffee meeting, but lunch and or beer after work suggestion. I think a lot of people have extremely busy days. Taking 15 minutes out of the day sounds like very little to you, but it can be, a very big event throughout the day to have to go somewhere, leave the office, go to Starbucks, chat for, 15, 20 minutes, then go back. That's a big disruption. Offering to do it over, say, a lunch break someone was going to take anyway at their preferred spot, or even after work, I'll buy you a beer. I do recommend suggesting, hey, can I buy you a beer? Just get that, on the table. Yeah, so as exactly what you're saying, you don't have to wonder what this transaction is going to go down like. I'll buy you a beer. Let's chat. Perfect. Awesome. The person feels free to say yes, and feels free to say, how about we jump on a call, or just let me know what you're looking for in this email and we can chat.
Yeah. And I would also say that as you phrase the questions, which, as we said, you should put those questions in the email. Don't just be like, I have things to ask you about. Put them in the email, and phrase them where it's very easy for the person to respond to those questions. Like, and I understand there are situations where you really can't, but if you can ask a direct yes or no question, please do. Please. It makes everything easier rather than sort of a nebulous, I don't know what this is like. Like, if you say, like, what's the answer to this? Yes or no? Or what is the dollar amount for this? Like, if you can be very specific about what you need, what answer you're looking for, be as specific as possible, because it's going to make everything easier.
Yeah. And what that also does is let the person know you're not just trying to meet so that they'll hire you. Like you've got actual questions this person can be. If you say, let's just grab a coffee, I have questions, or I'd love to pick your brain.
It's going to sound like you're trying to get ahead somehow by like schmoozing them, which is not
exactly,
which hopefully is not what you're after.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That, and if you are meeting with someone who you would love to work with, or if you're contacting them, that's fine, but don't be very careful about how you go about that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be even just establishing this contact with this question, and then maybe like a month down the line you follow up or something. Like that's fine, but don't go into it expecting something out of somebody. Don't even expect answers. Go in as, this is what I need. Hopefully you can help. If not, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I am a big fan of the, meet someone and get to know them as a way to get ahead, but give that person something to gain from the interaction as well, like a friendly chat and a beer and, a connection they might find useful. Like, you don't want someone to feel like they're being used.
Yeah.
Just pretty basic advice, but there you go.
I think it's good to reiterate. It's an easy thing to, I don't want to say forget, but you sort of lose sight of.
All right. Well, hopefully that helps. Luckily, unlike many of our other questions, I can actually ensure we do get follow up on this advice. So that hopefully that is useful. And since we are just about at the 20-minute mark, which means we're going to be over our promised 20 minutes yet again, do you want to say what David had to say to us?
Yeah. So just to sort of roll into this, thank you, everybody. I feel like we've gotten good feedback over the past month or so, and a lot of people congratulating on the 50th episode and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for all of that. And you can also leave all that goodwill on iTunes, notarealjob.com/iTunes. Once again, I forgot to check before the episode starts, but here, let me activate the little review search thing and we'll see how we're doing there. But David from England has sent us an email, or I guess a message through the website, which you can also do, notarealjob.com. There are links there to contact us. And he said, I found your podcast through Mabimbam and subscribed because I just started a podcast of my own around the same time. And his podcast is thebunkerpodcast.com. I don't have a question. And I just wanted to let you know that your series has been really useful to me and the people I work with. We've taken a lot of your advice and tried to apply it to what we're up to, and it's been a great help. So thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. So thank you so much, David. And definitely you and everyone else listening, leave a review on iTunes, because that is our bread and butter. That's how people listen to the show, and that's how we are able to sleep at night as well. So I guess that brings us to our show notes and housekeeping and that kind of thing. So like I said, notarealjob.com/iTunes. We would love your questions, notarealjob.com/questions. Also, we are on Stitcher, notarealjob.com/Stitcher. And you can also find these episodes on YouTube, and they've got nice little links. You can jump to specific segments and share them with your friends easier. So that is notarealjob.com/YouTube.
Yeah, we're each personally on the Twitter at Joel Kelly, at Chris Van Patten, and at NarrageCast. Keep sending in your nice, lovely thoughts like David did. Even if you don't have a question, it's always nice to know that people are listening. Sometimes we forget that we actually do have an audience for this show.
And definitely, leave those on iTunes as well, or YouTube. If you think an episode is particularly funny, you can comment there. You can comment at our site, notarealjob.com. And also, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe all these places. Whether you have the app or not, just do it for us, because we love you if you do. And I think
that's it.
Is that it? Wow. This one went by quicker.
Yeah, I think that's a good sign.
It was good. One more thing. Over the next couple of weeks, my travel schedule gets really crazy. So we're going to record a couple episodes in advance, just to kind of keep things going while I'm gone. But as a result of that, the sooner you get your questions in, the better, because we're going to record like 2 at once. So definitely get those in as soon as you can. And also, I am hoping, and we're going to talk about this after we finish recording, that we will do that long-awaited podcast how-to episode very soon. So hopefully that'll be done by the end of August.
Yay.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Thanks for listening, everybody. We love you.
Yes.
And I love you. And I don't know.
We'll talk
That's
to you
all I
next
got,
week.
really. Yeah, I'm going to finish this martini. Bye, everybody.
Bye.